Welcome to today's Explainer. I'm genuinely super excited you're here because today we are going on a bit of a mission. We're going to fundamentally reframe something we usually try to avoid, like the plague, vacation boredom. We're diving into how that restless, kind of uncomfortable feeling of having literally nothing to do isn't actually a waste of your precious time off. Actually, scratch that. It's way more than just not a waste. It's actually your brain shifting into its absolute most productive phase.
But first, let's just be real for a second. Have you ever come back from a trip and felt like you genuinely needed a vacation from your vacation? Oh, you totally know the feeling. You're just completely and utterly exhausted from trying to maximize every single second of your hard-earned time off.
We all fall into this modern trap, right? We feel this intense, honestly overwhelming pressure to just make the most of our time. So what do? We frantically plan day trips. We spend hours scouring reviews for the absolute perfect restaurant. We explore new places until our feet literally blister. We feel obligated to photograph absolutely every single sunset, rapidly reply to all those lingering messages, keep up with everyone else's social media, and desperately try to catch up on everything we didn't have time for during the entire year. I mean, wow, it is practically a second job. But then, somewhere between all of those frantic, heavily scheduled plans, a rare, completely unplanned minute appears. You're sitting by the sea. Your eyes naturally drift out toward the horizon. And for the first time in what feels like forever, there is absolutely nothing you need to think about next. The schedule is completely, beautifully empty. And what happens in that suddenly empty space? Well, first, boredom creeps in. That sudden silence feels surprisingly uncomfortable. So step 2, we instinctively reach right for our phones to fill the void. And by doing that, step 3 hits. We unknowingly interrupt one of the most incredibly valuable biological processes a true break can offer. By seeking a quick distraction, we accidentally rob our brain of a deeply, deeply needed reset. To understand exactly why we do this, we really have to look at our daily environment. We live in a modern world defined by a constant, never-ending stream of stimulation. There is almost always something to read, to watch, to listen to, or some tiny fire to quickly put out. Because our attention keeps shifting so rapidly from one ping to the next task, our nervous system adapts to this baseline. It stays locked in a heightened state of readiness, just constantly anticipating the next demand.
Okay, let's dive into this, the science of silence and what happens when your brain switches modes.
This is where the science gets truly fascinating. What exactly happens inside your head when that demanding, constant rhythm of stimulation suddenly stops? Well, we usually assume our brain is only doing its most important work when we are highly focused on a specific task. But here is the biological plot twist that completely validates your downtime. When you stop focusing your attention on the outside world, a remarkable system called the default mode network, or DMN, fires right up. This network actually becomes more active precisely when your attention is no longer occupied by what's happening around you. In the background work this network does, it's absolutely incredible. The DMN connects all those disjointed things you've experienced throughout the day. It silently processes those lingering conversations that have just kind of stayed with you. It works tirelessly to consolidate your memories, and it actively calms your nervous system down. So an idle brain is actually working overtime to bring all your scattered pieces of information into one coherent, organized whole. And this brilliantly illustrates the massive contrast of a true break. Just look at the outside. You're sitting peacefully in the shade, children are playing nearby, cicadas are buzzing in the warm air, the wind is moving gently through the trees. From the outside, it looks like you are doing absolutely nothing. But on the inside, oh, your brain is fiercely organizing experiences, connecting abstract ideas, calming your nervous system, and doing all the heavy lifting of preparing you for whatever comes next. This hidden inner work is exactly why you've probably experienced coming home from a trip to find that a problem, one that kept you going in endless circles for weeks, suddenly feels so much less overwhelming. You weren't actively trying to solve it while sitting on the beach, yet something shifted. And that's because your brain finally had the space and the silence to recognize patterns and make decisions without your conscious effort constantly getting in the way. So the crucial point is captured beautifully by Ivana Song. Creativity isn't just about talent. It also needs space. True clarity, deep understanding, and fresh ideas, they simply do not come from a few extra hours of grinding away at your desk. They absolutely require genuine, completely unplugged time for that default mode network to just do its job. Which brings us to bringing boredom home and the immense value of the daily pause. Because the absolute greatest gift of a vacation isn't the photos, and it isn't the souvenirs.
It's learning how to bring this biological trick back into our heavily scheduled, deeply distracting daily lives. The concept is profoundly simple. A walk can simply be a walk. Silence can simply be silence. You really don't always need a podcast or music playing in your ears. I want to challenge you to endure those first few minutes of uncomfortable emptiness when the stimulation finally stops. Don't immediately reach for the phone. Write it out. Just write it out until that emptiness inevitably turns into a profound sense of calm.
So I'll leave you with this question to ponder today. The next time you find yourself thinking, ugh, I'm bored, whether you're on a grand vacation or literally just waiting in line at the grocery store, ask yourself, what is your brain getting ready to solve? Please don't view your next quiet moment as doing nothing. View it as the absolute most valuable gift you could possibly give your mind. Let your thoughts wander and just see where they take you.